Now we know what to do.
Yeah.
So.
So I have a question. I've been reflecting on some things,
Mhm.
and I thought I'd ask this question. And if this is not the case, you don't have to tell me your reasons. But was you taking off December 11th a way of saying that George Bush did 9/11?
No.
Oh, your birthday. Okay, reason why I didn't see that last time. Reason why I
Oh no,
asked.
they gave this to me after, but
Oh,
that was my birthday weekend.
okay.
Yeah.
Reason why I asked. Have you ever heard that though? That
December the 11th?
that September 11th was an inside job. You ever heard that?
No, I don't. No, I have not heard that.
You never heard 9/11 was an inside job.
Uh-uh. An inside job? No.
That's
No, I never heard that. I was at,
Fahrenheit 9/11.
where was I at when 9/11 actually hit? I was working at a food line in the
Uh,
Valley.
but I
But
can't
I've
believe
never heard that. I've never heard that. I honestly haven't.
You seen the movie Fahrenheit 9/11?
No,
Okay.
no, no.
Like Jadakiss said in a song, called "Why," said Bush knocked down the towers. This was what 2004. I want to say when he said that. Like everybody's done heard that. And you say you was working at Food Line.
Yeah, I was working at a food line then when 9/11 hit.
I thought that's peculiar. You haven't heard that.
Mm-mm.
But that's how I took it as. I took it as because they use war words in dates, numbers, but they still just like the alphabet. Um, and because I'm like, it seems like they want to associate me with that. And I was 16 years old when 9/11 happened. And I'm like, you associate me as if a 16-year-old had part of 9/11 conspiracy. And remember me telling you I felt like they told me that it was an inside job, but it's no evidence proving that, and you know, so it could easily say he got it misconstrued, or we was telling him that. It depends on what day it fall on. And what I mean by that is if they want to blame me and keep me on the medicine, they'll run with it. But sitting in the courtroom and Bush on trial, they're not gonna say they said that. So I'm not an accessory because somebody told me something that I didn't ask to be told. When I originally was thinking what a lot of people think that it was an inside job, when I was first put on this medicine, they used to make commercials talking about, are you willing to die for what you believe? And then, I recall saying something about herbs, about them being cold and no soul, and they're gonna come out with a show on TV. I think it might have been a documentary about herbs, and it was called "You Don't Know Dubai." They used Dubai to reference what I was thinking about herbs being cold, and it was
Cold.
cold-hearted, no soul.
Okay.
And they made a show talking about you don't know Dubai, and I'm like, why are you defending Dubai? Why you with your herbs? Why are you defending herbs? If you telling everybody herbs is holding me hostage, why are you defending them? Where do you think terrorists get their money from? People in Dubai, they got billions of dollars of American money. So why are you defending herbs? You look at 9/11, what, 14 to 15 out of the, what, 17 to 19 was from Saudi Arabia. And then Donald Trump do get on live TV at one of his, what you call it, campaign events and say the Saudis did 9/11 and we didn't do nothing. We invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. You know, it's plenty of people, because, like I said, 90% of the 9/11 terrorists were Saudis. They weren't Afghan or Iraqi. You know, so, you know, like I was saying, like, people don't associate me with 9/11, because I was 16 years old and got nothing to do with 9/11 and could care less about it, because, you know, these rappers getting in bed with politicians, that's their problem. It's not even rappers' problems at the end of the day. You know, like, our community all heard it was an inside job, you know, and I'm not gonna just say our community. Everybody heard it was an inside job, but our community, meaning the rap community, people of color who listen to rap music,
Mhm.
that song Jadakiss came out with called "Why" was one of the hottest songs that year that everybody loved, and he's saying in the song, "Bush knocked down the towers." So our community is like dead set on it being an inside job. But the peculiar thing about that, I look at Joe Budden podcast, and Joe Budden on TV with the guy, the Navy SEAL who shot Osama bin Laden with the double tap, and I'm like, Joe Budden, and this is might sound wrong to say, but our community, the black community, most of us that follow you, Joe Budden, all thought it was an inside job and really don't entertain this 9/11 stuff. You know, half us think it was an inside job. I got a childhood friend that said a long time ago, he was like, politics ain't nothing about who can lie the best. He also said, they know when before they allegedly killed Bin Laden. He
Mhm.
said to me, he was like, they know where Bin Laden at. It's just politics, which likely is the case, because when I was in Central State in 2015, my barber there said straight up, she was like, 9/11 was an inside job. The Bush family and the Bin Laden family, something about had an insurance policy on one of the buildings that fall, and they took out our insurance policy like a few months before the buildings got ran into, as if they knew something was gonna happen. And she was even go as far as saying that um, Bush daughters, the twins, babysitter died under precarious circumstances after that. They're nanny, you know, and like, you know, people like my barber at Central State, she was a female. Like she didn't deny it that she thought it was an inside job. She would speak on it. And there was another guy. He was actually a resident there. He said it too. And um when she was talking about Bush and Bin Laden being partners, the guy who was a resident there, he looked at me at a side eye like trying to warn me. You know, not in the sense of I'm doing something wrong,
Mhm.
but trying to warn me like, hey, this is what time it is. This is
Mhm.
what's going on. That's what he kind of did, you know. And she also said, the barber also said that they done had plenty of opportunities to get Bin Laden before Obama and them got him. He was like, when Bush was president, there's stories of U.S. soldiers having Osama bin Laden surrounded and was told to stand down. All kind of stuff. Now, it's gonna get written off as conspiracy, you know. So you know how that go. But the thing about situations like that, you know, if you don't catch people red-handed, they'll never admit to the truth. That's just the hardcore reality. They won't admit to the truth. And then, not just that, even if you catch them red-handed, if it's not a big enough audience, then it doesn't matter either. Because if one person know for sure that this conspiracy, and I'm not just talking about Bin Laden, just any conspiracy,
Mhm.
if one person is a part of it and see it and know that what everybody think is a conspiracy is actually fact, how did he get his message out to the whole world without being killed? Look at Epstein. Look at all the people that died from JFK conspiracy, in which they got a documentary on Paramount talking about how the medical examiners said that it wasn't no magic bullet, that it was actually all entry wounds when it came to JFK. And which leads me back to Joe Button. He's beefing. Well, he's not beefing, but he's talking about somebody else beefing. A dude named Rick Ross, well D1 or something like that. And Rick Ross, because this guy, he's like an activist that want rappers to stop with the negative message in their music. And that's just a made up debate as far as these two artists. The situation is real as far as rappers needing to change their music and uplift the community. But the whole beefing between the two rappers is just a made up situation to indirectly communicate my situation. But what Rick Ross said, I mean, not Rick Ross, what Joe Button said um, was, and this was after I seen the JFK documentary on Paramount, he was like, these people will shoot you, which was indirectly not talking about Rick Ross or anyone hurting that rapper that called him out. It was their way of saying that the government will shoot me, you know, and but all they gotta do is keep me on the medicine, in which they plan to do. The way my health is deteriorating, all they gotta do is keep making excuses to keep me on the medicine, and then like another thing, Busta Rhymes, and when was this, about 2007, 2008 maybe, I don't know the correct date, but Busta Rhymes talk about they getting A-Rap money,
What that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what do you mean by that. How they, and then they walking around with shirts that say authorized dealers. But again, like I don't think this situation is about drugs, and I think if the rappers are dealing drugs, it's a quid pro quo for their cooperation and undermining me. But the medicine is U.S. medicine. Why did the U.S. got to put their own citizen on medicine to deal drugs? And if it is if the people in Williamsburg or anywhere else convinced that this is about drugs, who's selling the drugs, who buying the drugs, and who's using the drugs? Who's using the drugs? Because why mostly the hard drugs white people use. So is the American government that hard up for money that they want to get a bunch of their people hooked on illicit drugs? Because when you start talking cocaine and heroin, the black people do it, but probably if you look at percentage-wise, probably 60% of Caucasian or more, and that's a fact. So are they trying to get their own people hooked on drugs for money? And then I called the DEA, and to check off all bases, and they routed me to a department called the diversion department of the DEA, as if they knew I would call, and they saying that the whole rapper saying this is about drugs is a diversion and a distraction, in which they done told me that before. But the community is hell bent on thinking that this is about drugs. Like when I'm sitting at the bus stop, I say 7 months ago, and a car drive by and the license plate says lit mule, like a lit drug mule, or like the incident I was just telling you about the paraplegic guy that the dude come to the hospital and say it's all about money, and I agree it's all about money, but not in the ways people think. It's about money by the entertainment industry is making a lot of money that get taxed and create jobs and build economies. Just like Taylor Swift tour did, just like Beyonce's tour doing. So you can make money without doing anything illicit, without selling drugs. This is still illegal, but it's not about drugs, and you know, and people are making money because I recall, like when I was first put on this, it was an MTV show, might have been The Real World, that's the name of the show, and one of the guys that was living in the home, he said something like, people that's not a part of this feel left out talking about what's going on with this, and this was in the very beginning. Now, you be a fool to want to get involved in this situation because it's so toxic. Till the best thing to do is stay away from it, and you know, um, then you got like what else? And then like I wrote this down. I like the 9/11 investigate. I know I'm jumping back to the first topic, but I wrote this down. It said I wrote the 9/11 investigation was concluded by the time I was put on this medicine. You blamed Saddam. You started a war in Iraq. Bin Laden admitted to planning an attack. I'm 16 years old. America blamed Bin Laden. Every anniversary, there's an honor. There's like people paying honor to the victims of 9/11. They
Mhm.
get on TV blaming on Al Qaeda, blaming on Osama bin Laden, but then indirectly they're trying to say that Bush did it and I'm an accessory to it. What does that happen? How am I accessory to it? If Bush did it, but it's not going to be blamed on me. And why is that even acceptable to blame it on me? Doesn't that look just Bush got caught, so he created this situation to blame it on some little poor innocent black kid who don't have a defense team or a lawyer to represent him, and you can frame him and hold him under the Patriot Act? What kind of mess is that? Why is the UN not getting involved? I reached out to them, haven't heard anything back from them. Why are they not reaching out to me? Trying to stop this because you know it's a human rights violation. People that actually the terrorists that didn't die from 9/11, who actually played a role in 9/11, who they had at Gitmo before that closed down. The U.S. government will get in trouble for waterboarding them. You can't even waterboard people. So how can you get away with using biological, chemical weapons on your own citizens that didn't even break the law? And this can be proven by rappers. Like they planned this out when I was 18 years old. And they keep talking. Oh, we can't. They how smart they are, and like I said, these rappers are not calling the shots. These rappers ain't meeting with lawyers every single day or got a team of lawyers that's coaching them on what to say in their music. No, they're getting this from the labels. The labels send them into the studio, have them pop out songs related to this situation. Then they bring the music back to the label. The label probably sit down with their team of lawyers and make sure they're not incriminating themselves in any type of way regarding the situation. But the funny thing is, they had a slip up with that because Ti, and this was just so happened, this happened before the medicine was in my body, and Ti had a slip up because Ti said in the song, "You got your partners in your broad in your car after up, which your underestimation thought a star wouldn't bust," meaning crack jokes. So that accompanied with this so-called reasonable doubt case that can't be proven beyond that, that's enough to hit them with conspiracy if they really wanted to, the feds. They can hit them with conspiracy because T.I. ain't gonna sit up there and say that he wasn't rapping about me. We ain't gonna sit, I ain't gonna say we, but we as in us as the entirety, we not gonna sit in the courtroom and act like the music ain't about me. The movies haven't been about me. And a jury is gonna sit there and pawn that off as, oh, this is not legit. He's being paranoid. No jury is going to accept this, that is being paranoid. Everybody know the music industry is making songs about this situation. So you may not can prove that by reasonable doubt, but T.I. album associated with the reasonable doubt, that's conspiracy. It's 100% conspiracy. And it doesn't help that T.I. come to a small town that nobody ever heard of. Well, he didn't come there himself, but send his clothing brand to the town I live in. he donated clothes to a local rapper from my town. Once I was on this medicine, a local rapper, not me. He, he donated his clothing line, Akoo, to a local artist from my town. So Ti, you're looking very. What you gonna get in the courtroom? Oh, that's coincidence. You saying a dude, you saying a dude friends is sleeping with his girl and his car messed up. My car was messed up. So and then not just that. He says, in a stolen automobile, roof and the tag missing. That's three different instances. The stolen automobile was a car I bought that I wrecked, and I don't know if it was stolen or not, but I thought it was because when I wrecked it and went to get the title, the dealership in Norfolk didn't have the title, and it became a big ordeal about getting the title, in which the issue ended up getting resolved. I had another car where I didn't have a front license plate. I put the license plate in the window. Then I had a rental car, which was a convertible Eclipse, and those are three different cars, three different incidents. That each time I had people with me, and each time I got pulled over by a police officer. And this tells you that Ti been communicating with police. And in that incident, if I was to accompany that with Ti saying you got your partners in your brother, your car messed up, with your underestimation, thought a star wouldn't bust. Moral of the story, I can prove that Ti is talking about me right now. I can prove that in the court of law. I can get all my friends with the instance of the three different car incidents where I get put over by cops and they in the car with me. Now he may have rapped it and thought he had got away with it with reasonable doubt, but the evidence is there to prove that, hey, Ti is indeed making music about Terrell. Accompanied with what's going on now, it's conspiracy. They can prove conspiracy. The feds can prove conspiracy. And like Jeezy says something about another thing that's going on. The rap music is being edited in a way that, like Ti said, Jeezy said when I was first put on this medicine, I told you trap, you didn't trap, so die, get your pistol out your car and kill yourself. In which I don't have a pistol and don't own a pistol. That's what Jeezy said. I went back and listened to that song not too long ago, and he says, you said you trap or die, get your pistol out your car and kill yourself. They're editing the music. They're editing the music to make it look like they didn't have anything to do with this situation. And they're doing it on YouTube. But these are mixtapes. These are albums. It's not hard to get the real copy. That this was the CD era. It ain't streaming where you can delete the file and upload a different one. We in the streaming era now. When I'm talking about goes back to 2006 where people actually bought CDs. And they selling out millions of CDs. All this stuff, and not just here, they selling them to nations. Let's say Russia, for example. That's an enemy of ours. They sell these albums in Russia too, I'm pretty sure. So if Russia really wanted to get to the bottom of this and try to return the favor to America for all the sanctions America like to throw against them when they do something considered wrong, they could return the favor to America if they really wanted to, because they all they gotta do is search through the music. That's all they gotta do. The music tells the whole story. Jeezy, talking about he worth a meal on the low, plus the weatherman said it's a slight chance of snow.
What that mean?
Meaning I'm worth a record deal. Slight chance of snow meaning that they're gonna use me to be a drug mule. But again, I don't believe that story. I do not believe that.
They're gonna use Jeezy to be a drug mule,
use
or
me to be
you?
a drug mule. Like Rick Ross say, I feed them steroids to strengthen up my chickens. That was one of the first songs Rick Ross came out with as an artist when I was put on this medicine. I feed them steroids to strengthen up my chickens, meaning kilos. But I don't believe that story. And regardless,
What's the chickens?
kilos, birds, they call kilos birds, bricks,
He feed them steroids.
to strengthen up his chickens, meaning that they feed me this medicine to get more drugs. Jay Z said, what did Jay Z say? He would soon become a mogul, but first he bought that crack back like a yo-yo. You know, so these rappers, when I was first put on this medicine, you know, they was making all this song about this being about drugs, about George Bush um, double crossing them, and the business deal went sour.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, so it was never about that. This was a long term plan, so it had to go bad in order to work. And the people, the American people, to think that we have to be doing this to Terrell. That whole drug deal went bad. That's a made up story, imaginative story that they imaginated to they imaginated that story and created that story so when things which was supposed to be a long term plan took a long time, they can say, well, it's took a long time because Terrell a hostage now and the deal that we originally planned went bad. Well, the $1 million question is, how, how would the situation look if it had went right? That's the $1 million question. If this situation is a drug deal that went bad, now I'm a hostage, explain to me how it would look if it would have went right and it didn't go bad. What, they would have kept me on the medicine for 2 months and took me off of it and I'd be back home working, living my best life? No, it was always meant to go bad because it didn't go bad. It was a long-term plan that they had to say go bad, and they did that by creating this fake drug scenario, this fake drug deal to justify the duration of whatever they wanted to accomplish to take. You still, any confusion with what I'm articulating? Because I do have articulation problem at times.
It ain't your articulation. It's not your articulation at all. Why you say that?
No, because you know I'm not a lawyer. You know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a college degree, so at times I can say things that someone could twist. And I'm not saying I've done that with you, but just in general, anyone that's not a lawyer can do that, especially if a lawyer is trying to twist it, or the federal government is trying to twist your words. You know, so yeah, but yeah, like if everybody think this is a drug deal that went bad, tell us how it would have went right. If it wouldn't have went bad, like what would the situation look like? You know, because you know, like in Jeezy album about me in 2005 was called Let's Get It. It was called Let's Get It. Thug Motivation 101, Let's Get It. Well, there was a Indian guy at a gas station named IT, which spells it, you know. And when I was first put on this medicine, he gave me a book of matches, not to commit any terroristic act. I bought some cigarettes. He gave me a book of matches. He never gave me matches before. I don't use matches like that. He gave me a matches to warn me that um, my surroundings, like, and that's how I reflected on it and took it to warn me about my surroundings and the Fed's involvement. You know, and you go over the food line over there. You got a restaurant called Matchstick Barbecue, and I'm like, are you trying to say that's how you holding me against the Patriot Act? Because an Indian guy that you let run convenience store, tax free, gave me a book of matches, and I didn't ask for the book of matches. It's just a store I go into every single day when I lived in my town to buy cigarettes, to buy sodas, to buy chips. He gave me a book of matches, warning me, hey, people. And this is what I'm assuming. I don't know. At the end of the day, I can't say for sure why he gave me the matches, but it was one of the things. He just gave me a book of matches, and it stood out because he never did that before. But that's not on me, and you associate me with the Patriot Act and hold me and indefinitely with no due process because someone gave me a book of matches, but you still let them work at the store, you still let them make money and not pay taxes on the store, let them make enough money till they went back to their own country and opened up their own convenience store. What kind of foolishness is this? Because that's a store I normally visit. It's right by my house. It's not even 2 miles from my house. That's the first convenience store I pass when I leave my house. So, you know, don't associate me with people, and then you try to associate me with my father. I don't know my father. I've only seen him 4 or 5 times in my life. The government keep trying to make these connections that really ain't there. They fishing for something that really ain't there. They looking for somebody to blame for something that the evidence proved they didn't have anything to do with. And the only way they had something to do with it is because the federal government dragged them in the situation and forced their hand and made them have something to do with it. I didn't ask for this medicine. I didn't even know what kind of medicine the doctor was giving me. I don't know no rappers. I don't know my father. I don't know no terrorists. I don't know no mobsters. I don't know no gang members. So what exactly are you associating me with? So you hold me on the medicine for 18 years, and what? You hold me on the medicine and hope I break the law, so then you can try to blackmail me with that? Why you, and that's gonna be the next thing we talk about next week. Why you out here pretty much, like, it was a dude named Stokes when I was in jail, and he was like, they try to put it all on you, but in reality, they the worst ones. So, if I broke the law, it's nothing I broke the law in my lifetime that I'm not afraid to stand up and take accountability for. But to continue taking a medicine that's airing all my business out in the street, that's killing my kidneys, that's killing my liver, and already messed up my eyes, I'm not doing that by choice. I'm not doing that in some plea deal. I'm not on parole because I never had a trial. I never been in a courtroom. All these made up scenarios that they create, depending on their needs. One minute I'm a soldier, I'm a patriot.
Mm-hmm.
The next minute I'm a terrorist. Next minute I'm a criminal. It doesn't work like that. I can't be all these things when I'm resisting the situation. But then when I say I'm gonna mind my business, I'm a hero. I'm a patriot. Because that's another thing. What do you think of someone telling me I need to mind my business? What do you make of that? Because that's been said plenty of times.
Mind your
I
business.
need to mind my business.
In what situation?
This situation with the medicine and
And
complaining.
you talking to someone in particular, and they just say mind your business.
No, the way they indirectly communicate everything else, they indirectly, and they will say it out of their mouth, that I need to mind my business. Where they indirectly communicate other things, which is in codes, they did indirectly, and I've been in situations where people didn't actually said those words exactly. Like, he need to mind his business.
So you're saying in these situations, the indirect situations,
Yeah, people don't
someone
verbally.
indirectly said mind your business.
Yeah,
How so?
exactly like that. Like they'll be talking to someone else I'm walking by, and they'll say he need to mind his business. You know, because everybody has earpieces, and that's another thing I'm trying to figure out. As far as these earpieces, who's who the earpieces for? Is the mob controlling the earpieces or the government? Because the what exactly are the earpieces is for? If everybody want to commit obstruction, you mean to tell me that they created this situation intently to be like this, or as they say, it went bad, and then these are the hostage protocols, and this is the best they can do by insulting me and putting me down every single day of the week and communicating a form that kills my morale, kills my spirits. You know, this the best they can come up with, communicating the way they communicate. Because the problem I have with that, who's the only one being hurt by how they communicate? When they say things like you're trash, call me trash, call me all kind of things, derogatory. And that's supposed to be, it's supposed to have a silver lining. Like, we're calling you trash, but we mean it in a way that has a silver lining. You just got to sit back and think about everything related to trash and whatever. And you'll see the silver lining of the previous thought that you had a long time ago. So yeah, like, who's the only one being hurt by these protocols? I am. Who's the only one looking bad by these protocols? I am. You know, the mayor in my town that's a drug dealer, they don't talk about him. That's supposed to be related to this situation. You know, because T.I. said he's shutting the whole block down. Here comes trouble, homie. There's supposed to be some kind of feud that I'm caught in a drug war. That's the whole thing of what people think is going on. But again, it ain't no drug war. It ain't no drug deal that went bad as far as me being held hostage. These are all made up scenarios because these folks at the end of the day working together. The whole he worked stack of $20 bills, two bands in the middle, meaning Jeezy, listen up, Jeezy got a little riddle, stack of $20 bills, two bands in the middle, meaning a drug war I'm the rubber band, stack of 20, I know I'm the stack of $20 bill, two bands, I'm in the middle, meaning that I'm caught in a drug war. Cause cause I used to keep $20 bills. That was my favorite bill. I'm caught in a drug war. You're not keeping up? Well, am I not articulating it well?
The stack of $20 bills is
It's
you.
me. He said it's a riddle, so it's not straightforward.
Okay.
It's a riddle.
Okay.
A stack of $20 bills.
That was from the song.
Yeah, he said that in the song.
Okay.
And this was before the medicine, a year before the medicine. He said stack of $20 bills, two bands in the middle.
$20 bills.
But first he says, all I do is talk, blow. It's like my brain on drugs. See me out, I do my thing in clubs. Listen up, Jeezy got a little riddle, stack of $20 bills, two bands in the middle. So
This was before the medicine.
2005 in July. I think he said July 26, 2005 is when he released that album. I won't put on the medicine until spring of '06. Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing with that, I'm like, it's not a drug war between two rivals. It's not even about drugs. The two rivals are actually partners working together. And all they do is reinforce the other's behavior, which is bad behavior towards me. Hence the DEA saying diversion, the diversion department. So my thing is, like another thing, they used to make commercials talking about use it or lose it. Technology when you need it, none when you don't. And I'm gonna start recording these commercials. I'm really gonna start recording these commercials because they need to be recorded, because some of the things I've seen from 2006
Mm-hmm.
are no longer available. And it, like Kanye said, if I remember the things in the past, I would have been blacked out on their ass. Kanye said if he remembered the things from the past, he would have been blacked out on his ass. In a song called Black Skinhead, you know. So that's the thing with these people, and this is how I look at that. You know, like I look at YouTube and you got rappers on there saying that the government are pitting me and the community against each other, and I'm like, yeah, duh. But why are rappers telling me that? Why would you think they telling me that? Want me to tell you why? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. Because when these rappers, because it's supposed to be two-sided, when these rappers say um, that the government is pitting me against the community, just by the way the community communicate this situation is very offensive and disrespectful. People hearing my thoughts going to be very offensive and disrespectful to them. So yes, they are pitting us against each other. But rappers say that to me, along with them talking about my friends in Williamsburg fake hanging with me, meaning that they don't like me, but they hang with me. Called that's Quavo and the Migos talking about fake kicking it, like fake kicking it with your homies, meaning like your friends ain't really your friends, you know. But this is why these rappers say this to me. They say it to me, hoping I don't, not thinking I'm gonna figure them out. They say this to me, so, and then you got the movie called Good Person with Morgan Freeman. I am a good person. I'm a very good person that don't deserve what's happening to me. But they come out, I'm the villain and the hero at the same time.
And good person?
No, in general.
Oh, okay.
You know, like Nas had a song called That Hero said they love me and hate me for the same reason. So I'm the hero and the villain. And the thing with that is, when they let y'all hear the negative, it's to offend y'all. But then they let y'all hear the positive, it's to keep y'all motivated and fighting and doing what you do. Because this game don't work any other way. People may hate my guts, but they're still trying to save me. And if they didn't come up with things like he's a good person, or say things like the government is pitting us against each other, that's the community's voice of reason. So when they mad at me, hate me, and I see something that says they pitting us against each other, and I think that they're gonna let the community hear it, so the community can be like, well, it's not all Terrell's fault. Maybe they really are pitting us against each other. If we sit back and think about it, it kind of looks like they are. So basically, they're using my mind to be a voice of reasoning, to keep it to where people love and hate me for the same reason. It keeps y'all motivated. It keeps y'all wanting to help, even though you hate my guts, because you can always say we just hate them, F them, and take the earpieces out and keep it moving. But they want to keep y'all motivated they want y'all to think this is not Terrell's fault. They want y'all to think Terrell's a good person. They also want you to think Terrell is an a-hole, Terrell's a narcissist, and all these other things. They want you to think both, because they need balance. They need, depending on the circumstances, they need to be able to switch it at any given time, you know, to where he can be the a-hole and we treat him like an a-hole. He could be the good guy and we'll bring soldiers around and treat him like he a soldier. So yeah, it's the whole point of letting people hear that thought, and which I'm pretty sure they did, which makes them look bad, but they don't care because they got everybody where they want everybody. So if you ever heard a thought of them, you know, me thinking things that kind of make y'all rationalize and understand why I'm the way I am, that's intentional. They want y'all to hear that, to keep y'all motivated, to keep y'all having hope, to keep y'all fighting. That's why they do that, because some things they let y'all hear makes them look bad, makes the government look bad. But they will let y'all hear it anyway, picture and the psychological impact that it has on y'all. You know, this is a psychological war. You can't factor in reading somebody's mind and airing their thoughts out in the community without factoring a psychological profile or aspect of it. They do that, you know, and that's the problem with this situation. A lot of us ain't psychologists to really know why people behave and do the things they do. You know, people don't just do things, and certainly I don't just do things just to do it. You know, so that's the case with a lot of people. There's a psychological aspect to why someone, let's say, join the Marines
Mm-hmm.
because they've been bullied all their life. They want to be tough. It's, you know, Navy SEAL. You know, you could take the biggest jock in high school of the basketball team, the strongest, and you give him Navy SEAL training, he'll break. But you can take the bully who's capable and he could surpass and complete the Navy SEAL training. It's a psychological game more than a strength game. And if you can psychologically stay strong, that's more valuable than actual strength. Because it's a psychological game, it's to break it. You know, so, you know, this is a thing where they psychologically, um, it's a psychological thing where the way they approach it is psychological. Not just with me, with the way they handle y'all. You know, so yeah, they don't wanna commit to me being a bad guy or me being a good guy because it's gonna mess up their whole thing they got going on. So they play with both of them, go back and forth, bounce between each of them, and it keeps everybody motivated in the community. It can keep me motivated because when they tell me things like the government is pitting us against each other, that's a relief for me because people really hate me for no reason. So when they say things like that to me, it's reassuring to me like, hey, this is not my fault. When they say things like, oh, or make movies like Good Person, I think that's the title. Good is good per. Is I think, let me see. I think it's called A Good Person with Morgan Freeman. When they do stuff like that, I know I'm a good person, you know, and I'm not gonna look it up. I ain't even worried about it. But when they say things like "he a good person," that's relieving to me. It makes me feel good because everybody hates me, and at the end of the day, I am a good person. But like I've been saying all along, you know, people should try this exercise where they spend 5 minutes thinking about everything, and I don't mean any disrespect. They should spend 5 minutes thinking about everything they love about their race, the opposite race of theirs, or different races. You know, their embarrassments as a child, as adults, the wrongs they've done in life. If people was to spend a 5 minute exercise and think about all the good stuff they could think about black people or white people, all the bad stuff they could think about black people or white people, their embarrassments, and if that was aired for everyone to hear, then they would be called a racist. They would be resented and hated. They would be ashamed and looking like a hot mess. This hot mess and embarrassment and racist way I come across ain't specific to me. It's specific to the medicine because we're human at the end of the day. You know, and a lot of this, like I said, you know, everything with this situation is the big three. It's either them lying flat out, lying by omission, or creating a breeding ground for such things to take place. Everything they attacked me for happened on their watch. And some of the things ain't even worth attacking. You know, and again, psychological. And their approach is, well, what is their approach? They focus on me to undermine myself. Like all I said to made complete sense. But can I not undermine myself? Can I not undermine my own message? I can because just of the situation, And I done seen specifically when I was looking at the news and I was getting a better.
I
When I
gotta
was
stop.
getting, you can stop it. When I was getting a better